What was that like, Nito?
I mean, what else can you say? He can crack, you know. The man can punch. He has tremendous skills, speed, power, you name it. Overall, he's a very, very exciting fighter, and he's one of those fighters that he can stop fights at any moment in time, right? So the crazy thing for me is that when I fought him, one thing that really surprised me is how durable Inoue was. You can't just have all the skills, but then you have durability too. This is why he's one of those guys that's just dangerous because he has everything.
He can dish it out and he can take it back. That's why they call him the monster.
Let's take a look at the tail of the tape with Ramon Cardenas and Inoue. The biggest thing that stands out to me, guys, is the fact that Nonito, you fought him. You've been in world championship fights. He's been in 23 world championship fights. For Ramon Cardenas, his very first time on a stage this big.
I mean, that's something that you have nothing to lose, you know. Guy, I've been there before. You know, when I fought Darchinyan, I've been there before. I just got to give it all I got. And I think that's, to me, Ramon Cardenas, his mindset is that way. I have nothing to lose. You know, it's like one of the songs is like, if I have one shot, one opportunity, you're going to give it everything. And I think Ramon Cardenas is going to do that.
And for you, Chris, you've had the opportunity to see Ramon up close and personal.
Yeah, I've called a bunch of Ramon's last couple fights, and I've spoke to him personally, you know, even before his last fight. And I told him, listen, man, you're a special talent. You're right there. And look where we are now. We made it to the big show. And a lot of people may be overlooking you, but like I said, I've seen what you're capable of in that ring. You know, so I tip my hat to you for getting here.
And you say his name and he appears.
Yes.
Here he is. Well, careful what you wish for, like a genie, right? Careful what you wish for. We are joined now by Ramon Cardenas. Before he steps on the scale, you and I have had a chance to talk a couple times this week. Each day closer and closer to the fight. This is the last time you'll see him face to face when you guys face off today. How would you kind of sum up your emotions? As we're just a little over 24 hours away now.
I mean, I'm just excited more than anything. I'm excited to get the show on the road and get the fight. I think all this stuff, you know, the press and all that stuff, it doesn't get real until tomorrow. Yeah. So now I'll feel it tomorrow, and I'm just excited to be here.
You know, Ramon, I was in a similar situation when I fought Manny Pacquiao, the great, you know, legend. I was a B-side coming in. You know, there was a lot of hype behind me. And I always say, fighting Pacquiao wasn't just about fighting Pacquiao. It was the Pacquiao experience, everything leading up to it. How has it been through that transition to this fight week, walking through crowds the way that we are? We got so many people here. How has that experience been for you so far?
I mean, for me, it's been easy going because I'm just taking it as it is. You know, I understand that it's part of the job. Doing pictures and all that stuff is part of the job. So that's just one thing that I got to do. But other than that, I'm excited and I'm ready. And I'm waiting for tomorrow.
See that, champ? Cool, calm, and collected. Even in the eye of the storm. That's what it's all about.
That's a view of how incredible this fight is going to be, because you got a guy who's calm, who's very, very calm, who has nothing to lose, who's going to give it all he got.
You've been in that position
I've
before.
been in that position
you as well.
with Darchinyan.
Yes.
You know, and to me, it was just like, you know what? You can have all the experience in the world. When I come in there, I'm going to do my thing. And I can see that that's the kind of mentality that you have. But emotionally, and the mental aspect of it, and emotional and physical, how is it aligning for you going into this fight?
I mean, for me, like you said, I got nothing to lose and everything to gain. So I'm taking that mindset with me everywhere I go. I don't care if I go to the restroom. I don't care if I go to the gym or to the treadmill or whatever. Like, I have nothing to lose, and I'm here to win everything. So, you know, winning this fight puts me on a big map, because no one knows me, and that's the best thing about it. That's the beautiful thing about boxing, is from one day to the next, legends are born, and I feel like this is my moment.
From one day to the next, legends are born. I love it. I love the mentality. I could tell when I first talked to you earlier this week, it was a lot more smiles. I know we're getting closer to fight time. Things are getting just a little tighter, a little more serious. I mean, big opportunity for you tomorrow night, but you have to weigh in first, so we won't hold you here any longer. We'll let you go get on the scale. Ramon, thank you so much for joining us up here on the set. We appreciate you. Best of luck tomorrow night, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, we also have another world title fight on the card. The first one to set the tone, and the only Mexican world champion fighting on Cinco de Mayo weekend. It's Rafael Espinoza taking on Edward Vazquez. And, you know, Chris, I'll start off with you. Espinoza has really, his star has continued to rise in the featherweight division as a budding superstar.
You know, he's not just the Mexican champion fighting on Cinco de Mayo weekend. He literally is on the doorstep of being a Mexican superstar. He burst onto the scene with a great win over Mauricio Ramirez and then came back to repeat that. He's really been on a tear, and he's always in exciting fights. So being able to fight in front of a pro-Mexican crowd on Cinco de Mayo weekend as a returning champion, there's got to be nothing like that for this young man. First of many for him.
And for his opponent in Edward Vazquez, Nonito, he's not somebody that should be overlooked. His record is deceiving.
And absolutely, he's given every fighters from champions a difficult time. When he fought Raymond Ford, it was a very close fight and very, very competitive fight. And then when he fought Joe Cordina, who was a world champion, people thought that he had won that fight. So this is a guy that you can't overlook, because as much as the record shows or whatever it may be that people are seeing, this guy is here to fight.
So you're saying he's a very live dog?
Oh, 100%.
Before we get these guys on the scale, we showed the full fight card. There's a lot of talent on the undercard. Quickly, give me who you are excited to see on our undercard tomorrow.
For me, if Rohan Polanco is on the card, he's the guy that I'm excited for. I think he's one of the meanest welterweights out there. He's really budding. He's about to I think he's about to take over. The welterweight division is wide open, and this kid is really coming on.
For you?
For me, I gotta say Emiliano Fernando Vargas, man. Those are my family, man. I've known them for a very, very long time, and seeing Emiliano grow up and just how he loves boxing. So I want to see more of Emiliano.
Yeah.
And for me, guys, it is Art Barrera Jr. When you're fighting out of the Robert Garcia Boxing Academy and you got that man in your corner, and the dogs they have in that gym, Art Barrera Jr. for me is one to watch. Another one to watch, a man who looks very festive today and is going to take it away now for the introductions for our weigh-in, Ralph Velez. Take it away, Ralph.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome to the MGM Grand Garden Arena here in the forever fight capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada. Bob Arum's Top Rank Incorporated is proud to present the official weigh-in for this mega event, live from the T-Mobile Arena tomorrow afternoon and evening, broadcasting live on ESPN Plus and ESPN. Of course, no weigh-in is complete without our top-ranked knockouts. Please put your hands together, Las Vegas, for Tiana and Chanel. Put your hands together. Guys, we got some shirts to throw out, and you know the rules. If you want some shirts, you got to make some noise. Put your hands together, Vegas. Let's go. You can follow them on their Instagrams for a behind-the-scenes look at Fight Week through their eyes. Again, thank you, Tiana and Chanel. Ladies and gentlemen, we open up this weigh-in with our swing bout tomorrow evening, 4 rounds of boxing in the cruiserweight division, featuring Patrick O'Connor and Marcus Smith. Introducing first to the scales, with a record of 2 victories and 1 defeat, both of his victories coming by way of knockout, fighting out of Carlisle, Ohio, Marcus Smith. $188 pounds even, 188 even for Marcus Smith. And now to the scale, his opponent. He will be making his professional debut tomorrow afternoon, fighting out of Fort Washington, Maryland, Patrick O'Connor. $196.1, 196.1 for O'Connor. It's Smith versus O'Connor, the swing bout tomorrow evening, 4 rounds of boxing in the cruiserweight division.
You're gonna look right at Mikey first.
There. Oh, take it out again?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so we got Patrick O'Connor making his pro debut. 19 years of age. Nonito, do you remember your pro debut? As many years ago as that was?
You know what's crazy? I do remember my pro debut. I mean, I stopped the guy like 12 seconds of the fight.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
Once again, guys, a swing bout,
I'm sure
4
Patrick
rounds
O'Connor
of boxing
would love to have
in the
a similar
cruiserweight division.
scenario,
Smith
but
O'Connor.
19 years old. How old are you when you made your pro debut?
I was when I turned 18.
18.
You know, yeah, I wanted to do it when I was 17, but in California you had to be 18. Yeah, I remember those days, though, man.
Ladies and
Those
gentlemen,
days.
our next weigh-in is for the opening
I
attraction
always say, the
tomorrow
pro
night,
debut, you only get one. Better make
6:15
it.
Eastern, 3:15 Pacific time on ESPN Plus. 10 rounds of boxing in the featherweight division featuring Rahi Salim and Rudy Garcia. Introducing first with a record of 13 victories, 1 defeat, and 1 bout even. 2 of his victories coming by way of knockout from South Central, Los Angeles, California, Rudy Garcia. 125.3, 125, and 1/4 pounds
the challenge,
for
the chess match
Garcia.
game, or whatever it may be, right? It was always,
And now
always
to the
growing.
scale, his opponent,
And I believe
with a record of
Raif can
21
fight.
victories
He can
and 1
really fight.
defeat, 12 of his victories coming by way of knockout, fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada, by way of Muskegon, Michigan, Raif Ali.
Looks to be in tremendous shape. You know, even at 34 years old. 10-round contest fighting Rudy Garcia, who's 13-1-1.
125.6.
I mean, Raif himself, you know, he's always in shape. He's always in the gym because they always want that opportunity. You know, as far as it goes, I believe that he should have gone a little bit more farther on it. You know, but unfortunately, things happen in fighters' careers sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. Wasn't the most active guy, but you know, at 34 years of age, you got to think that he's got to really step on it. And
you know, the
make
mindset
something
for me though is I don't believe in age, man. This is why I'm still fighting, baby.
You're a very special case. I don't know if everybody wants to fight as long as you. I certainly don't.
I love it. I love being in there, man. You know, and as you can see, these guys are
Once
stare
again,
downs.
guys, our opening
they're
attraction
piercing each other.
tomorrow afternoon, 3:15 Pacific time on ESPN Plus. Raif Salim, Rudy Garcia.
It's been a while for me, man, just stepping
Ladies and
into
gentlemen,
that
the next
scale.
weigh-in is for the next attraction tomorrow
Listen, I don't miss
afternoon
weighing in,
live
but I do miss
on
the stare downs. I
ESPN
used to like-
Plus.
I like
6
stare
rounds
downs.
of
Going.
boxing
I love
in the
stare downs.
junior
Didn't like
middleweight
weigh-ins, but I
division,
love stare downs.
featuring Art Barrera Jr. and Juan Carlos Guerra Jr.
The only good thing about
Introducing
weigh-ins
first,
are
with a record of
that you're going to
6
fight the next day and
victories
you're going to get
and
paid.
1 defeat with
So you
1
already know.
bout
You make the
even.
weight, you get paid.
2 of his
Make the weight,
victories
you get paid, and you get
coming
the
by way
fight.
of
You know,
knockout.
maybe I'm a little bit
Fighting
crazy,
out of
but
the
I love
Windy
the
City,
fact that I'm
Chicago,
cutting that weight and then I'm
Illinois,
ready to
Juan Carlos
eat.
Yeah,
You know,
ready to
I
eat.
love that.
Nothing tastes good.
Jr.
That's what it says right after weighing food.
I mean, that's the beauty of boxing, man. You know, making that weight and then enjoying that very, very first meal.
Yep. I always say that's the first fight of the weekend, right? Make the weight, the fighters with the scale.
153 and 1/2 pounds for Juan Carlos Guerra Jr. And his opponent, with a record of 8 victories and no defeats,
So, yeah,
6
man.
of his
This
victories
is
coming
an
by way of
look at
knockout
the people.
from
I know.
Linwood,
For a
California,
weigh-in, incredible.
presenting the undefeated Art Barrera Jr.
Oh, man, I've been talking to a lot of people about this young man right here. There was a lot of hype around him. He is a fantastic budding junior middleweight.
And you know, he has an incredible record.
152.7.
I mean, 8-0, 6 knockouts, fighting at Robert Garcia Boxing Academy, which we both trained at at certain points of our careers. So you know the kid's in shape. You know he can fight.
And when you're sparring guys like Virgil Ortiz, Adolfo Delgado, Jose Ramirez, Brandon Lee, like you're getting better work in the gym, and with all due respect to your opponents, definitely opponents you're facing in the ring. So iron sharpens iron, and we've seen that
Once
as he's
again,
delivered
6 rounds of
each and every
boxing
time he steps into the ring.
And he's only 19 years old, so it's all up. It's all up from here.
You know, like when I was sparring, when I was like 17 years old, I was sparring Pacquiao, I was sparring all these guys, and like I said, when you get fighters like Ortiz you're sparring with, and all these other world champions that you're working with, you're bound to be a world champion because you surround yourself with the world champion, and that's just how it is. This is how the energy works.
Absolutely. I really believe in testing yourself and sparring when you're coming up. That's why I left New York. I left New York. I went to Vegas, went to California with Robert Garcia's Boxing Academy, so I could spar with all those guys, and it really helped my career.
Huge event coming your way. We're ready to continue our official weigh-in for our big night of action taking place tomorrow. Brought to you by Bob Arum's Top Rank Incorporated. Our next weigh-in features featherweights, 10 rounds of boxing, and a special attraction. And it features Mikito Nakano versus Pedro Marquez. First up, please welcome, with a record of 16 wins, 1 loss, 10 of his wins coming by way of knockout from San Juan, Puerto Rico. Please welcome Pedro Marquez. Pedro Marquez weighs in at the featherweight limit and even 126 pounds. And now his opponent ready to weigh in, undefeated with a record of 12 wins, no losses, 11 of his wins coming by way of knockout. Here is the world-ranked featherweight contender from Hiroshima, Japan. Please welcome Mikito Nakano. 125.9, just under that 126 limit, 125.9 for Mikito Nakano.
A great opportunity for another young fighter from Japan to fight on the undercard of Naoya Inoue here in the States. I mean, a dream come true for a lot of these guys.
Yeah, we heard the Japanese contingent cheer
in the building. Yes.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that because you don't usually hear any of that, you know, in a fight. I mean, when I fought out there, they would clap and stuff like that. But to hear them, that's incredible.
Yeah.
I love it.
Japan acts different in Vegas. It's good.
Yes.
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Vegas, that's it.
They're so polite. We do those fights in the studio. You know,
there they are, ladies and gentlemen. 10 rounds of boxing, featherweights, and
every now and
fans,
then. But like, I'm excited to hear what the Japanese contingent sounds like live in T-Mobile Arena tomorrow night and on ESPN.
They're gonna have to be loud because they're gonna get drowned out by the Mexican fans.
Our next fight
That too.
features 8 rounds of boxing, NABF junior title in the junior welterweight division. Features Emiliano Fernando Vargas versus Juan Leon. First, please welcome, with a record of 11 wins, 2 losses, and 1 draw from Madrid, Spain. Please welcome Juan Leon. $139.9, 139.9 pounds for the confident Juan Leon. And his opponent, undefeated at 13 wins, no losses with 11 knockouts. He's the junior welterweight phenom representing the boxing famous Vargas family. Please welcome El General Emiliano Fernando Vargas. 138.7, already 138.7 pounds for El General Emiliano Fernando Vargas.
Emiliano, man, that's, you know, El General, that's what he's showing right now. You know, just sparring and all that, fighting and seeing him, all of that. He's showing up to be his own man.
Yeah, I mean, he's a talk about budding superstar. This kid's got it all. He's got the looks, he's got the smile, he's got the talk, and he fights, and he goes for the knockouts. He really does have it all.
Yes.
And I think a little extra motivation for him, not only fighting here in Las Vegas on a big card like this, but also Cinco de Mayo weekend, something that, you know, Mexican-American, you dream about. And also his first regional straps on the line. You know, do you guys remember fighting for your first belt? It helps get you moved up in the rankings. He's got a junior NABF junior welterweight title.
First piece of hardware.
Yeah.
That's always something.
Those are great, you know, for fighting for something that really inspires, especially for the young guys, you know, inspires them like crazy.
Just turned 21 less than a month ago. And sky's the limit, in my opinion, for the young Emiliano Fernando Vargas.
Ladies and gentlemen, Emiliano Fernando Vargas, El General versus Juan Leon. 8 rounds of boxing in the junior 1 division. It is for the junior NABF title. Emiliano Fernando Vargas not only representing his family heritage, but proudly representing his Mexican heritage as well.
Shaking everybody's hands.
He looks like a
politician. We continue with our weigh-in. This time we move into the welterweight division, scheduled 10 rounds of boxing. It's for the WBO Intercontinental Welterweight Championship. Rohan Polanco versus Fabian Maidana. First up to the scale with a record of 24 wins and 3 losses. 18 of his wins coming by way of knockout. Hailing from Margarita, Argentina, please welcome Fabian Maidana. 146 pounds, 146 for Fabian Maidana. His opponent is the defending champion. His record 15 wins, no losses. 10 of his wins coming by way of knockout. He's the world-ranked contender, the current WBO Intercontinental Welterweight Champion from Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic, Rohan Polanco. 146.2, 146.2 for the defending champion for this WBO Intercontinental Welterweight title.
That's the guy I was talking about earlier, Rohan Polanco. He's one to look out for in the welterweight division. I was just talking to his coach, Hector Bermudez, old friend of mine. And I'm saying, oh, man, I like that boy. He's mean. He goes, yeah, he's the nicest guy in the world outside the ring, but on fight night, that mean comes out of him.
And speaking of mean, that Maidana last name is associated with that as well. His brother, Fabian's brother Marcos Maidana, fought on this day against Floyd Mayweather 11 years ago to the day.
Wow.
So now he has an opportunity to carry on that Maidana name. Not quite on a stage as big as what his brother fought on, but
not yet.
Cinco de Mayo weekend nonetheless, and an opportunity against an undefeated prospect in Rohan Polanco.
Yeah, definitely a step up for Polanco. This is not an easy fight. Fabian Maidana, you know, he can fight, and he's been in with some really talented guys.
I mean, if you were with brother Marcos Maidana, you know, he'll whip you in shape.
Yeah, you're definitely gonna be tough.
Yeah, exactly.
He's got that same jawline too, like that same face structure as his brother.
And that's what makes him tough.
That must have been a rough household.
This fight rounds out our undercard tomorrow night. The ESPN Plus portion that gets started at 3:15 Pacific time. The undercard portion from T-Mobile Arena, Polanco versus Maidana, right before we get to our two World Championship fights. As we bring you in back to our set, we are joined by Emiliano Fernando Vargas. I'm glad to have you up here at the set. On the scale, made the weight, the hard work is done. A little over 24 hours away. How are you feeling?
I feel amazing. I want to thank all the beautiful fans here. Thank you for all the love and support. You know, we couldn't do it without you guys. I'm here to make it a show. El General is back, baby. You know, I'm just looking to keep on knocking heads off. I'm young, I'm hungry, and I'm a fighter. So I fought 3 weeks ago, and if they thought my last performance was a great performance, then you know, it's a Super Bowl Sunday event come this Sunday.
Yeah, Emiliano, you've been on a lot of undercards coming up on Top Rank over the years, but this one's got to feel a little bit different, right? You've got Naoya Inoue as the main event. It's on a Sunday. It's Cinco de Mayo weekend. You know, how are your feelings going through this fight week?
I just know that this is what I was meant to do. You know, this week was amazing for me. I took it slow and basked in everything because I know this is what I'm supposed to do. As a kid, I remember seeing Canelo at the media workouts and a kid and wanting to do that, and I'm here. So I'm going to continue to grow, I'm going to continue to learn, and, you know, the sky's the limit. So I'm excited.
You know, I can't talk to your dad because your dad, you know, he's all over the place when I talk to him. But one thing that I got to say is that, you know, he's always telling me stories about when he disciplined you, he would take away your gym. How true is that?
Yeah, no, 100%. He knew what hurt me, you know. But I fell in love with winning. You know, I won my first amateur fight, and then since then, that was all she wrote. I love winning, and come this Sunday, I'm going to win in a big fashion.
Yes, sir!
Well, all you've done is win. 13-0, 11 KOs. Emiliano and General.
And maybe me and the champ here get some more rounds in. I know we got some rounds in last time, so I was younger, you know, and he was touching me up a little bit.
Come on, son,
let's go. Iron sharpens iron. All right, let's send it back up to Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Thank you very much, Christina. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we are ready to bring out our fighters in the first of our world title attractions. The co-main event of the evening will be live on ESPN starting at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Pacific Time. It is 12 rounds of boxing for the WBO Featherweight Championship of the World. Rafael El Divino Espinoza versus Edward Kid Vazquez. First up, ladies and gentlemen, we present the challenger. He'll be making his second attempt at a world title from Fort Worth, Texas. Please welcome the world-ranked, battle-ready contender, Edward Kid Vazquez. 125.6 pounds, 125.6 for Edward Kid Vazquez. And now we bring out the defending world champion. He'll be making the third defense of his title. 26-0 with 22 knockouts from Guadalajara. Jalisco, Mexico, the undefeated WBO featherweight champion of the world, Rafael El Divino Espinoza. 125.4, a ready 125.4 for Rafael El Divino Espinoza. We have a fight, 12 rounds for the WBO Featherweight Championship of the World.
Guadalajara is in the building. The loudest ovation we've heard so far for the champ, Rafael Espinoza, undefeated, 26-0, 22 KOs. Significant height and reach advantage, but Edward Vazquez says, I'm not worried about it. I'm going to chop down that tree.
Oh, 100%. I mean, he's one of those guys that makes every fighter have problems with him.
Yeah, fight his fight, right?
And then don't be fooled by his record. But the guy can fight, and the guy is here to fight.
As chance of Divino break out here, and you can see the height difference right there, and that's pretty much the situation every time he fights, spitting 6'1" and 126-pound frame.
That is crazy. The tallest guy I fought when I was in the 122 division was a 5'11" fighter. So I was kind of right there, and I was like, I have to be like, punch out.
Right.
I got to jump.
Quite a stare down. The last time they'll see each other face to face until they meet tomorrow evening for the co-main event in the center of the ring for the first of our world title attractions.
All right, everybody, I'm here with Edward Vazquez. Now, you've been here before, you've been in title fights before, but now a new weight class. What's different this time around?
Just, more seasoned, I'm smarter, I'm better, more hungry, and now I know what it takes to get that title. I know what it takes to come out as I know what not to do to come out as a loser, and now I know what to do to get on the other side of that.
That's great, that's great. Well, best of luck. Thanks for taking the time, champ. All right, how about you, brother? So, obviously, you got the strap on your shoulder there. Mexican champion fighting on Cinco de Mayo weekend. Huge opportunity for you. What does this mean for you in terms of your whole career?
Es un sueño, la verdad, es un sueño estar aquí, estar con mi gente en una fecha mexicana y este título nadie me lo quita.
It's a dream come true to be here with all the people on this Mexican date, and this title right here, no one's going to take it away from me.
Well, champ, take a moment and let these people know what to expect tomorrow night.
Estoy esperando al mejor Edward Vazquez para dar una gran pelea y van a ver que México va a estar ahí siempre.
I expect the best version of Edward Vazquez so that we can give a great fight, and you're going to see that Mexico will always be here forever.
Great. All right, put your hands together for the champion and the main event of the night. Congratulations.
I'm very much looking forward to our co-main event, the first of our two world title fights.
All right, fans, here we go. It's time to bring the fighters out for the main event of the evening, brought to you by Bob Arum's Top Rank Incorporated in association with Ohashi Promotion and Teiken Promotion, sponsored by DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. It's 12 rounds of boxing for the undisputed junior featherweight championship of the world, featuring the champion Naoya, the monster Inoue, versus Ramon Cardenas. First, let's bring out the challenger. 26-1 with 14 knockouts to his credit. He's the world ranked contender and battle-ready fighter from the beautiful city of San Antonio, Texas. Please welcome Ramon Dinamita Cardenas.
121.8.
Cardenas weighs in at 121.8 pounds, 121.8 pounds for the challenger. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here he is, making his very special debut here in this year, 2025, here in Las Vegas, Nevada. A boxing superstar, pound-for-pound great from Japan. The four-division world champion, the undefeated, undisputed junior featherweight champion of the world, Naoya, the monster Inoue. 121.9 pounds, 121.9 pounds. We have a fight for the undisputed junior featherweight championship of the world.
You know, what was interesting is Naoya Inoue said to me yesterday, he felt like, the visitor fighting here. Not many cheers for Inoue up there on the scale, but you heard a little more for Cardenas when he weighed in.
Yeah, I mean, it's Cinco de Mayo weekend.
Yeah.
We have a bunch of Mexican fighters on the card. Ramon Cardenas is a Mexican-American. Japan's a long trip. That's a long way away.
It sure is. It's not oftentimes you hear the superstar not getting the same reception as you do the challenger. And, part of the reason is Ramon Cardenas earned this opportunity. He's built his chops up, if you will, on a platform like Pro Box where he's gained some fans. And now he's got the biggest opportunity of his life come tomorrow night.
I mean, he's coming on a 14 fight winning streak. He's beaten 2 undefeated guys. He's here to make a difference for his life and to be what every fighter dream about is becoming a world champion.
And becoming an undisputed world champion. I thought this is not just a title fight for him.
This is
It's
a
an
shortcut,
undisputed
man. Oh
title.
my God.
One fight for all the straps.
This is a shortcut.
Oh, he said over here, overnight, he can become a legend. He can go from obscurity to being a legend.
Look at that stare down.
Intense.
Stare down.
Intensity.
I love that, though. I love that. I'm getting excited right now.
There they are, ladies and gentlemen. It's the main event of the evening. Undisputed Junior Featherweight Championship of the World, wearing all of his belts. Naoya the Monster Inoue. This is Ramon Dinamita Cardenas.
Yeah, and that's the last time the two principals in our main event will see each other face-to-face until they are face-to-face in the ring tomorrow night. And they're fist-to-fist as well. And for you, Nonito, when you're going into a fight, and granted, when you fought Naoya Inoue, he wasn't the superstar that he is now. But how would you kind of sum up those emotions as you're getting ready face-to-face in what is, the biggest fight of your life at the time, and for Cardenas will be as well?
Well, there's two things, right? Fighting Inoue himself as a fighter who can fight, a fighter with power, and someone on the other side, someone who's been to a point where I was a short notice and fought a big fight, and I had to roll with it. You know what I mean? So Cardenas, he has that emotion that he has nothing to lose. But while Inoue, we just are here looking forward to see what else he has to show us.
And I'm being told Naoya Inoue is making his way to our set now, so you're going to get a chance to hear from the undisputed junior featherweight world champion, who gives us a big smile, Chris Algieri. Nobu, going to help us with translations. Appreciate it. You're free. You know this guy? Right here?
A little bit. So.
When you're up there with Cardenas, face-to-face for the last time, what do you feel from him?
He 非常に落ち着いてて、よく仕上がってるなという印象です。
He looks like he was in good condition and looking forward to it.
Does this weekend feel different? Fighting on Cinco de Mayo weekend, coming to the States, obviously, there's a very pro-Mexican fan base here. Does this feel different for the champion coming abroad?
今までの、日本の試合とこの雰囲気はやっぱり違いますか？
一つのイベントとして全く日本とはもう別物です。
Yeah, it's a whole different event altogether, and it's quite different. Yes.
You've accomplished many things in boxing that a lot of people haven't and could never do. What makes you and keeps you motivated?
成功してますけれども、モチベーションは何ですか？今の段階で。
まだまだ強くなりたいという気持ちです。
Basically, I just want to get stronger. That's the feeling that I have.
Speaking of getting stronger, you've gone up several weight classes. I mean, what do you foresee is the limit for you in your career?
階級的にどのぐらいまでの階級が自分的にはリミットと思いますか？
最終目標として一つ上のフェザー級はチャレンジしていきたいなと思ってます。
As my final target, I think featherweight is where I want to challenge my final challenge.
Just a little more fried chicken and you'll be up at featherweight without a problem. Any final words for you guys before we let the champ out of here?
You know, you've gotten so much better every fight, and I'm just looking forward to how far you can take your career. I'm very excited.
このキャリアがどういうふうに進んでいくかっていうのは非常に私も集中して見てます。
ありがとうございます。ノリトとの試合が自分のキャリアの中で一つ分岐点となった試合なので、ありがとうと伝えたいです。
The fight with you, Nonito, was one of my turning points of my career, and thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
どうもありがとう。ありがとう。
I know Noble was saying something different though, but you know.
That's what he said. It was a turning point in his career when he fought you. It was a turning point in his career. Arigato mas. Thank you, Nobu. Thank you. We'll see you tomorrow night. I always wonder that too, because I felt like, as some of the Japanese media here want to get some pictures with Nonito and Naoya Inoue. Oh, one more. Go ahead. Go ahead. Everybody wants pictures of these two. Absolutely. Why not?
Star power and two future Hall of Famers, no question.
Without a doubt. And who's to say if Nonito, his two fights with Nonito helped him become a better fighter? He learned because of those experiences. He wasn't undisputed at that time when he fought Nonito. It was later that next year he went on to become undisputed after that.
And one of the most difficult fights of Nonito's Inoue's career. You know, he had fractured his orbital in that fight early on. He had to learn a lot of things in that fight. I think it's helped him throughout his career as well.
And you can just tell the amount of respect that he has for you. And I think it was really nice to hear him say, you know, fighting you was the turning point of my career. You know, you take something away from every fight, but, you know, you could tell the amount of respect that he has for you and how much he grew and became better as a fighter, particularly after that first fight with you guys.
You know what's crazy was way back before we fought or anything like that, when I didn't know what I wanted to do with my career, I went to Japan and I was helping him how to throw those big shots. You know, I'm like, oh my God, you know, but he's very, very talented, but he's very dedicated. And like you say, he had like the question that has been asked, he's accomplished everything else, but yet for him, he just want to keep rising higher. That right there is something that we'll always see, because the complacency is what kills a career, a great champion. But for him, we don't see that.
No.
Two-time undisputed, and said he's still looking to conquer one more weight class, 126, a fight I could not wait. If it happens there, you know what I'm about to say. It's Naoya Inoue versus Junto Nakatani.
Yes.
That's the fight to be made, no question about it. I know Chocolatito's name's been thrown out there. There's still a lot that can happen. I heard another promoter making mention of another fight in the future.
MJ Akwadali is another potential opponent in the near future. So
but
he's got some unfinished business at 122 before going.
He does, and Ramon Cardenas will be like, not so fast.
Right.
You're talking about the future. You got to get through me first, and that's tomorrow night on ESPN. Let's take a look one more time at the full fight card. Coming live to you tomorrow from the T-Mobile Arena. It kicks off on ESPN Plus at 3:15 p.m. Pacific time. And then the two World Championship fights live on ESPN at 7 p.m. Pacific time. A select number of tickets are still available. If you'd like to join us live in Las Vegas, scan that QR code for all things Fight Week. Visit AXS.com or T-Mobile box office and get your tickets to join us live tomorrow night. All right, one last look at the champ as we sign off. Good job, guys. Good job.
Always a pleasure.
So happy to have you here with us. A lot of fun. For Nonito Donaire, Chris Algieri, Ralph Velez, Jimmy Lennon Jr., and our entire Top Rank production crew, I'm Christina Poncher. Thank you for watching. So long from the MGM Grand, and we'll see you tomorrow at T-Mobile Arena.
The undisputed junior featherweight champion, Naoya Inoue.
He loves to feel this type of pressure. He loves to perform.